Khalil Hacker, and thank you for accidentally tuning in to another review here on Slacker Reviews. Before I review Ant-Man, let me give you a little backstory on it. So, back in 2006, and that's 2 years before Iron Man was made, and that's 2 years before the Marvel Cinematic Universe was even started, Edgar Wright approached Marvel to do an Ant-Man movie. And they're like, no, let's just wait, because we have this little idea for the Avengers, Ant-Man's a part of that, so let's just give it some time, and then we'll let you do Ant-Man. So the years pass, Iron Man comes out, a few other Marvel movies come out, and then they're just about to do the Ant-Man movie. Edgar Wright finishes his script, shows it to Marvel, Marvel looks at it, takes it back to a few of their writers, they change a few things in the script, give it back to Edgar Wright, he looks at it, and he quits. He's out. This was really disappointing for me because Edgar Wright's one of my favorite directors. And if you don't know who Edgar Wright is, check out Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and The World's End. I found my hat. So after hearing that Edgar Wright dropped out of this movie, I was going to boycott it for a little while. I was like, nope, Edgar Wright's out. They ruined his movie. I'm not gonna see it because it's just gonna be some sellout bull crap. But then I thought, no, you're still a movie fan, you're still a Marvel fan. Don't totally dismiss this movie, go see it. And another really disappointing thing was they didn't delay this movie. They were like a couple weeks before shooting the movie. They didn't delay the release date, so they were rushing to find a director, so they just found a random director. Peyton Reed, who did things like Step It Up. No, wait. He did things like Yes Man, Bring It On, The Breakup, and Herbie's The Love Bug. So, without further ado, let's get into this review. Whoa, that kind of rhymed. Ant-Man is directed by Peyton Reed, not Edgar Wright, and it stars Paul Rudd, Michael Douglas, and Corey Stoll. This movie is about Scott Lang, who is an ex-con who was recently released from prison and is just trying to be a good man for his daughter. And he is recruited by Hank Pym to steal some, secret Marvel super cool stuff from the bad guy. I mean, it's pretty much, just a Marvel movie, superhero movie. It's pretty much just a regular superhero movie. That's all you really need to know going into it. So, while I was watching this movie, I noticed something. I looked at it and I was like, ex-con, recently released from prison, gets recruited to do one last score that he has a lot of personal gain in. This is a heist movie. Marvel did a heist movie. I like heist movies. And I was really happy with the fact that this was, gonna be a little bit smaller than most Marvel movies. Smaller. Because he's Ant-Man. There's a lot of size jokes in this movie, by the way, too, so I won't give you too many more. This is probably Marvel's cheesiest movie so far, which is saying a lot. Also, a lot of the science in this movie just doesn't really make sense. I mean, I'm not a big science buff, I'm not very smart in that realm, but, there's a lot of things that just kind of happen, and the only explanation is because science! But one thing I really want to talk about is the action scenes. They're amazing, and they're obviously Edgar Wright's contribution to the script. Because they're epic at times, when they're tiny, it's a lot of epic action going on between these tiny guys. But then, you zoom out, and it's kind of hilarious to see just like a train set fall over when down in the tiny size, it's this epic battle. And it's also a really, really funny movie. I mean, sure, it's cheesy in a lot of parts, but just don't take this movie too seriously. You'll have a good time. It's pretty funny. It's honestly probably funnier than Guardians of the Galaxy, which is saying a lot, because I found that movie to be hysterical. But this takes itself a lot less seriously than Guardians did. Also, when I'm at the movie theater, it's a sacred place. It's kind of like church to me. I say nothing unless it's like a whisper to a friend or something. But there was a certain scene in this movie where me and all my friends that went just cheered. We raised our fists and we cheered. It was pretty epic. I've never had that experience in a movie before, so that was pretty cool. So Paul Rudd plays the main character, Scott Lang. I was honestly very happy with Paul Rudd as this role. His comedy chops really brings a lot to it, and he can handle the humor very well. And I'm honestly kind of excited to see him interact with the other Avengers in the upcoming Marvel movies. And Michael Douglas plays Hank Pym, who was Ant-Man back in the 80s. And honestly, it's Michael Douglas, just with Hank Pym's name. But that's kind of really cool. We live in a day and age where Hank Pym, Ant-Man from the old comics, is played by Michael Douglas. As a comic book fan, that's huge. That's honestly really, really awesome. And then there's Evangeline Lilly. Evangeline Lilly. She was very meh. I mean, her story arc just kind of felt like it was shoved into the script a little bit. Her character was also, like, really annoyingly cliched, you know? Like, everything with her character was just really, really predictable, and she was just kind of boring, honestly. And her haircut was a little bit ridiculous. I know it's something really stupid to nitpick, but her haircut was ridiculous. Like, I get it. They're hinting that, ooh, she's gonna be the Wasp in the future. Look at her hair. This is the same kind of hair that the Wasp had in the comic books. Look, nerds, you'll like this. But it just didn't work. It made me feel weird. It felt weird. She felt weird. She was weird. It was weird. I didn't like it. In House of Cards, Corey Stoll plays Darren Cross, or Yellow Jacket. And he was the villain. I mean, that's really the only way to describe this character, was he was just the bad guy. He didn't really have much depth to him, you know? He killed sheep. Like, they did science experiments, and it was just really cheesy. I thought we were gonna use mice in the experiment. What's the difference? He was just evil, just to be evil. There was absolutely no depth to him. He was just as cliche as, like, a Saturday morning cartoon villain. Although, honestly, I could probably relate more to Skeletor than I could with Yellow Jacket. He's just very forgettable as a villain. Speaking of which, Marvel, you need to step up your game with villains, okay? Because hardly any of them are memorable. Sure, we have Loki, we have Winter Soldier, although Winter Soldier I don't know if you could consider a villain considering his upcoming roles. I don't know. But, like, seriously think about it. Name the villain from Guardians of the Galaxy. You know, the blue guy with the hammer. What was the name of Jeff Bridges... Yeah. What was the name of Jeff Bridges' villain character in Iron Man 1? What was the name of Sam Rockwell's character in Iron Man 2? What was the name of Guy Pearce's character in Iron Man 3? It's just... hardly any of them are memorable. Oh, Thor 2. Who was the elf guy in Thor 2? Nobody knows. Nobody remembers. Nobody cares. You know, they focus way too much on the protagonist, but I think a hero is just as good as his villain, and they need to step up their game with the villains. I also want to talk about Michael Pena in this movie. I mean, he just plays Ant-Man's friend, you know, this stereotypical Mexican guy. But he's freaking hilarious in this. Almost every single line that he spoke in this movie just had me laughing. And he was really, really good. I was very surprised by his role, because I saw him in the trailer and I was like, oh, cool. Another Mexican stereotype. Awesome. But no, he was awesome. He was hilarious. He was great. And I just wanted to give a shout out to him. And also, I heard that all of his lines, or the majority anyway, were improvised. So, go Michael Pena. So, Peyton Reed as the director, I just wasn't feeling it. And this isn't me being biased for, you know, Edgar Wright and stuff. I'm past that. It's over. It happened, Khalil. Get over it. But remember, this is the guy who directed Yes Man, Bring It On, and The Love Bug. He wasn't energetic enough as a director for this movie to work as a heist movie. And it didn't feel right. Marvel definitely needed to take more time in finding a director for this movie. I would have been totally fine with it being delayed, with the release date being delayed a little bit to find a new director. I would have been fine with that. You should have done that, Marvel. And then with the writing of the script, it went through quite a few writers, and you can definitely feel that it went through quite a few writers. I mean, there's times where just the tone of the movie kind of changes a lot, and there's some scenes that just feel like it was shoved in there just to get that Avengers thing going. And it just felt wrong. It didn't feel right as a script. But in all honesty, this is probably my fourth favorite Marvel movie. I mean, it was a good time. There was a lot of good laughs to be had. Like, the comedy in it was very, very well done. It's definitely not to be taken seriously. I mean, it's good to just sit back, stop thinking, just get a good group of friends together, and just watch it, laugh at it, cheer if you need to. I mean, it was good for that. So overall, I'm going to give the film Ant-Man a 7.25 out of 10. You know, it's a Marvel movie, go check it out. If you're keeping up to date with all the Marvel flicks coming out, definitely go see it. I mean, get some friends together, make a night out of it. It's a good watch, you know, it's not too bad. So, that ends it for this one. As always, watch movies, my friends.